Friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. I want to tell you a story today. It starts like this. On a beautiful late spring afternoon 25 years ago, two men graduated from the same college. These two men, Dean and Michael, were very much alike. Both were from middle-income families, both had been better than average students, both were personable, and both, as young college graduates, had dreams for the future. Recently these men returned to their college for their 25th reunion, and they were still very much alike. Both were happily married, both had 3 children, and both, it turned out, had gone to work for the same Midwestern manufacturing company after graduation, and were still there. Now, there was one difference. Dean was the manager of a small department of that company, and Michael was the president. Now, what made the difference? Have you ever wondered what makes this kind of difference in people's lives? It isn't always a native intelligence or talent or dedication. It isn't that one person wants success and the other one doesn't. The difference lies in what each person knows and how he or she makes the use of that knowledge. Let me tell you a little tale of Dean's life. You see, when he landed a job at the manufacturing company, Dean looked around to see how everyone else was doing their job, and then he did the same. You see, he fit in with his coworkers quickly. He took regular breaks like everyone else, ate lunch with his coworkers, and occasionally went out for drinks with them after work. You see, each morning he'd set his alarm for 6 a.m., hit snooze until 6:30, and then rush out of his apartment to get to work at 8 a.m. He'd work his way through the day and leave promptly at 5 p.m. Dean would drive his used car to his apartment, eat frozen dinners and watch television until 11. Occasionally, he'd take a young lady on a date. For years, he lived a minimal existence, getting 3% raises each year, doing little more than he was expected to do, hoping that times would remain good so that he could keep his job. After 5 years, Dean was promoted to supervisor. He got married. He bought a modest home in the suburbs. After work, he'd hop in his car and head home. He'd eat dinner in front of the television with his wife, and they'd watch their favorite shows until retiring at 11 p.m. Dean and his wife had 3 children in 6 years, and money started to get tight. So he was thrilled when his boss finally promoted him to department manager when his youngest son was just 2 years old. Dean thought it was only natural that he would continue to advance in his company over time. But unlike his former classmate, Michael, it never crossed his mind that he should take steps to improve himself or to make things happen. Now, Michael had taken a different approach to life. Michael landed a similar job to Dean's when they graduated from college. However, Michael approached his job and his life much differently. You see, Michael wasn't interested in doing what everyone else was doing. He didn't want to work for a company just to collect a steady paycheck. He wanted to run the company. And unlike Dean, Michael seldom needed an alarm to get himself out of bed each morning. He woke up around 5:30 a.m. each morning because he couldn't wait to start his day. Michael read every morning before heading off to work. Then he'd leave early for work so that he could arrive before anyone else. Instead of doing what everyone else was doing, Michael did whatever needed to be done to help the company grow, even if it meant stepping outside of his comfort zone. He dedicated most evenings to 2 things: spending quality time with his family and improving his mind and increasing his knowledge so he could operate at or near peak efficiency. Michael lived with purpose each and every day of his life. His goals motivated him, so he did more and traveled farther in a year than many people he worked with will ever do in a lifetime. He loved living life to the fullest. Now, Which kind of life do you want? Do you want to live Michael's life, or do you think most people live Dean's life? You can experience the joys of living a fully extended life. First you just need to take care of your mind. Stop feeding it a constant stream of junk. A little downtime is all right, but don't dedicate every free hour you have to watching TV, following sports, or doing other crap that requires little mental energy. Instead, I recommend that we live consciously. We only have a limited number of days on this earth, right? One bite at the apple. So we don't want to put our life on autopilot. We need to always ask ourselves, why am I doing this? If you wake up too many mornings in a row without a good answer to that question, then it's time to make a change. And if you want to change your life, you know what? All you have to do is change your life. It's that simple. Constantly work on improving yourself. If you're not doing something to improve yourself every day, then you're not going to reach your goals. Second, that's the whole deal, right? Set goals that excite you. So when you wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you're working towards. Also do what you love. If you don't know what that is, find it. Keep looking for it, and don't give up until you find it. And third, be the star of your own movie. Too many people are just extras in the movies of their lives, right? So stop watching other people in movies portraying a life that is more interesting than your own. Don't be afraid of feeling uncomfortable or awkward. Think big, step out, and move into the leading role of your life, no matter how hard it is. I cannot promise you that success will instantly be yours if you start setting the right goals, but I can guarantee that you will find a life far more interesting, fulfilling, and enjoyable. And you know what? Success sometimes just happens like that. So I want you to keep that in mind and keep moving forward. You know why? Because if anybody's worth it, you are. And I believe in you. Do you want to live the life of Michael, or do you want to live the life of Dean? They both started very similarly, but their results were obviously a little bit different. And if you notice, it's just because they were taking little extra steps that were different from each other that caused them to get different results. If you want different results, do different things. And if you want to change your life, sometimes it's just as easy as changing your life. I believe in you. I care about you. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more great stuff. But I really do hope that today I got you thinking, because you know what? When we're thinking, we are in the best position we can possibly be in to achieve the dreams, goals, and desires we've set for ourselves that are going to make this life the most meaningful and the best life we could ever possibly live. Take care, my friends. Don't forget, I care about you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.